Allan Water Humanitarian Award, Buffy Sainte-Marie. Right up in the middle, yeah.
Howdy, everybody.
Okay, we will get hands up. We will get microphones out into the crowd. First of all, I just want to say what an amazing speech that was. You had this entire room captivated. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
And we'll go to this first question right over here.
Hi, Buffy. Rudy, Blair, entertainment.
I know you.
Yes, you do. How you doing? Look, first, congratulations on receiving the award, but I'm just curious, what did you think of Gord Downey's project and what he's done throughout this time?
Oh, I was very touched, and you know what was coolest about it? I think because of the way that he did it, it was effective. I mean, you can do cool things, you can say cool things, you can be famous, but I think it reached an awful lot of people with a message that may have been new to them. I think it was different coming from him than maybe coming from me.
Question right over here in the front.
Hi, Buffy. Eli Glasner,
Hi.
CBC. Congratulations. I want to ask, when you started, you were a trailblazer. You were breaking ground, and now we're seeing this amazing kind of explosion of Indigenous artists. So how does that feel for you to see, I guess, this wave that's come after you?
It feels good. There's a lot of things about Indigenous people all over the world that colonialized people don't know, you know? And I don't know, I think I was doing it so young, and I was lucky enough to be raised in two families, you know, an Indigenous family and a non-Indigenous family. And I think I always felt that if I presented ideas that people didn't know about, that they might help try to change things. And I wasn't doing only Indigenous issues songs, but there weren't that many other people who were doing it, or if they were, they weren't in the right place to be heard. So it's just a thrill for me too. Yeah, I think I mentioned in my speech that because of the Polaris Prize, Tanya and I got to work together, and I think we'd met maybe 15 years or so ago in Yellowknife at Folk Rock. And she's gone through a lot of changes, and just watching her develop, or seeing Tribe Called Red reach beyond the Indigenous community and reach everybody, you know, it's just a thrill. I was watching APTN the other night, and I saw a group that I had never seen before. They were called Willow. So I was at my Facebook page saying, anybody know these guys? So there are a lot of other people digging roots. But besides the people who are already in the recording industry, I'm happy to tell you there are a lot of people you never even heard of. They're still in remote communities. They're playing jazz, they're playing traditional, they're playing, you know, folk style acoustic, they're playing rock and hip hop and everything. And every time that you guys are kind enough to mention one of us people who are better known, I think it really gives some hope to those who just really need it. Like any other young or new musicians, you know, they need encouragement and support, and I think shows like the Junos is good for that, you know, especially to have a multicultural reach.
Thank you.
A question right over here on the right.
Hi, Buffy. Linda Heldman for Canadian Beats. I actually have this down here. Sorry about that. I want to read it properly. Oh, jeez. Oh, where is it? Oh.
I get a phone like that.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Do you feel that Indigenous music has been more openly embraced in recent years? And if so, do you feel you have played a leading role in that?
I guess, because for such a long time, there wasn't anybody else, you know, who was so visible. So I guess I have. But, you know, just as a person who is lucky enough to travel and be in a lot of Indigenous communities, there are a lot that you're just not seeing. So that's why I'm so glad to see you giving some attention to other people in other fields of music. I mean, William Prince opened for me in Nanaimo just a couple months ago. And I hadn't heard him. And here he is performing for you guys and, winning a Juno outside of the Indigenous category. And when we first founded we called it Music of Aboriginal Canada then. And, I remember the day that I went into Caris with Elaine Bombery and Shingoose, whose name is also Curtis Johnny. And we had to build a case at Caris. Because, they don't establish a category for something just because they feel sorry for you or because you're cute or have nice feathers or something. We had to come up with the numbers. And that's what Elaine Bombery and Shingoose did particularly. I was just kind of window dressing, but we had to prove that there were record companies interested, that there were enough musicians, singers, songwriters, producers actually making records, that there were studios recording, and of course there were. And we've come a long way since then, and Caris has been really quite supportive.
And one last question right over here in the back.
Yeah, hi. Chad Walcott from New to Media as well as DCMTL. First off, congratulations. I know my editor-in-chief wanted me to let you know she finds you incredibly inspiring, as do I. So we mentioned that Indigenous music is starting to gain momentum now in the scene and gain a bit more visibility. What do you think is important, or what would be important steps to continue that momentum to gain more visibility for Indigenous artists and female Indigenous artists, for example?
Oh gosh, I ought to be asking you that question. I think we're doing pretty good tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
And tomorrow night too, Tribe Called Red's going to play for you, and Tanya Tagak will be playing for you as well. I'll get to open the evening with the Anishinaabe welcome, which is really an honor. I guess I would just ask you, hey Bear, Tribe Called Red, Bear, my buddy. Just the fact that you guys have embraced and accepted and celebrated and, given column space to a lot of quite diverse people, musicians, bands, songwriters who happen to be Indigenous, that's good. Please keep that up. And some of the issues that, not all of us are writing about issues, but the ones that are, there are some incredible issues that you will be becoming aware of. I'm putting out an album that will probably be out in the fall, and I'm going to call it Medicine Songs. And it has new songs, but it also has some of the songs that you never got to hear because of the blacklisting that went on in the 60s and 70s. And although blacklisting itself may not exist today. In show business, they only have to hold you underwater for about 4 minutes and you're dead for a very long time. So there are a lot of songs that Indigenous and other people have written that never got heard because at the time they didn't have the kind of business support, record support that would have seen them through those blacklisting times and made it not happen. So there's a lot more in music, a lot more to be said by people who write issue songs, and a lot more coming out of the Indigenous community, the Indigenous arts community, not just music, but everything. So thank you for covering it and being interested.
Thank you very much, Buffy. Congratulations
Thank you guys.
once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.